Hi guys, welcome to Bow Hunting Soul. Today we're going to be doing a review on these two knives, the Havalon Piranta and the Gerber Vital. Now these two blades or folding knives really are pretty popular with hunters. They're what we call in the scalpel knife category. There's been a lot of reviews on them. I'm going to give you my take on them. We're going to do a little bit of a tabletop review on them and get into in-depth each one of them. So stick around. All right, guys, so we're back at the table here. We're going to start with the original, which is the Havalon Piranta. This is the original version of it. They kind of popularized the scalpel knife trend. Now, what is this and what it really isn't? Now, they're going to tell you that, it's a knife, it's a hunting knife. It's not really a hunting knife. It is just a, what is categorized, again, like I said, as a scalpel knife. What it does is it's got these blades, these replaceable sharp blades. These are like surgical blades. This is like the 60A model. I know they have different models like 60T and 70 something or whatever. I haven't really used those very much, but this was the original. It comes in different colors. It comes in camo. It might have a black handled one. I like the orange because you can actually see it. You can actually see it when you put it on the ground, and it's harder to lose. Now, what is this for? This, past couple years, I've actually been trying this one out, and then the Gerber Vital, of course, which we're going to talk about in a second here. And this is, was meant to be, having a super, scalpel sharp knife with you at all times and not have to worry about having to sharpen knives and things like that when you're field dressing and deboning a deer, any animal. I've used it on a couple of deer. I've used it on this one on a couple of deer. And there's some likes and dislikes. First of all, it's got a very, very comfortable handle. It's got a pocket clip. I never use a pocket clip. It's got a very comfortable handle. It's folding. It's like a liner lock. Just like like a pocket knife kind of thing. It's one of those. I don't know what it weighs. I have no idea. But it's in my kill kit, and what I use it for is I use it for field dressing. It's super sharp. It's not super long. You can kind of get in behind it, when we're gutting and opening up the body cavity and things like that. And it stays it's very, very sharp. Stainless steel, doesn't rust. But the main knock against these is that they are ridiculously sharp. There's horror stories out there of people trying to either poke themselves with this. I believe the different style blades aren't as sharp as this, the point. But it's not a knife that you want to be digging. I mean, I know it kind of goes against the grain of saying, well, a knife is too sharp. Can a knife be too sharp? Man, I don't know. I think sometimes it can. When you're done with these blades, they come with replaceable blades, and you can buy replaceable blades. They come in a packet like this, okay, and it opens kind of like a packet of, or like a little sleeve of, like a Band-Aid or something like that, right? You open this up, and then there's a fresh blade in here. Now, here's the tricky part with the Havalon, and one of the biggest knocks against this thing is that when this goes dull and you want to replace a blade, the blade retention, okay, is just through here. Okay, you push on right there, and you push it, away this way toward me. Now, the way to get this blade, the way they say to do it, is you push on here, and what that does is it unclicks from over here. So then you do it, and you know what? I'm not even going to do it because like the horror stories start when people go and they just slice, down to the bone, because it's hard enough to do when your hands are dry. Imagine if you're wet, cold, in the snow, during hunting season, when you've got blood, whatever, on your hands, sweat, I don't care what it is, your hands are going to slip. So, I think they even recommend, here's my little Leatherman squirt, they even recommend using like a multi-tool to grab this and then, wiggle it free like that. Okay, here's the retention for it. It just snaps in there. Okay, this thing just snaps in there. And then putting a new one on, of course, is a little bit easier. You line it up, but again, you're putting some sort of like like pressure. This, you know, you're pushing and you're trying to pinch, but you're trying to pinch not touching on the blade part, so or on the sharpened part. See, I mean, it's just really sketchy. Just trying to even do it like this. There you go. Okay, I had to use the pliers again to click it in. Now it's clicked in. So to the people that don't want to carry, I always carry at least this thing around. I always have a multi-tool. But for the people that don't want to do that, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So, but otherwise it works really good. The other thing I really don't like about it is this thing snaps too easily for me. Whether it pries away from its locking mechanism and kind of unsnaps while you're working. Now, they say not to use it for deep, around ligaments and things like that. Well, yeah, of course, and don't put any like side load. They don't want you to put any side load on this, like that or like that, to make sure that this thing doesn't snap or like pop out of here. Well, the last deer I did with this, the thing popped out twice and it broke once, and I nearly chucked it. I finished the job with like a regular real fixed blade knife. And I wasn't putting that much pressure into it. Now the problem is, you're like, okay, well, if it breaks, no big deal, I'll just put another blade on. But what if you're like deep in a cavity or you're trying to debone something, or you're in a joint somewhere, and then this thing snaps off, and then now what? You got to go in there, and then you're going to dig around and then slice yourself with the remnant of what's left inside. I don't think so. I mean, it's really, really sketchy. This, I have it. I'm going to give it another, season of use out of this, if and when I shoot a deer this year, and I'm gonna see. But I'm not super impressed with the strength, and I'm not super impressed. I'm definitely not impressed with the blade retention system on this thing. I mean, I absolutely, I do not like it. So anyway, that's one of the copies to it, and I believe Outdoor Edge has their version of it too. But another copy to come along was the Gerber Vital. Now the Vital comes in a fixed blade and a folding blade. This is a kind of a a spine lock. Again, just like any other folding knife. It's got a belt pocket clip, which will never ever get used. This also takes the exact same blades as these. Okay, so you can buy your 60A, 60T, 70, whatever's. But this is a little more ingenious, in that the blade retention system is you push this little button right here, and it just comes off just like that. All right, we're back. So I was saying, this has this little spring-loaded spring-loaded button over here, and all it does is like this. You line it up and it just clicks right in. Now this is super simple. I found it just as strong as the Havalon, and initially I didn't, I thought it was, I didn't like it because it's a copy. I'm not too keen on copies, but whatever. And Gerber really doesn't have that high a place in my heart as far as quality goes. Sorry, but they don't. But this is actually really good. I definitely prefer it to the Havalon. My only gripe about it is, because you've got such a great locking mechanism like this, if you look on this side, well, a lot of this blade, this potential blade, the blade goes all the way to here, but I mean, you've got this much, almost half of this being unusable, as far as being able to slice into things, because this blade retention area over here, it's not as big a deal as I thought it was going to be, but over here it kind of is. You got this area over here that you really can't kind of use and slice into, because, well, I mean, it's just metal. It's a holder. So you got a long blade, and you can definitely use more of the blade on the Havalon because it doesn't have that. You can use the entire edge. You can use the entire edge of that blade, whereas with the Gerber, you know, you've got this kind of monstrosity over here. But honestly, you know what? It's not nearly as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. You're doing most of your work with the front half of your blade anyway. Just kind of making little cuts. We're not really sawing deep into anything. We're not really, you know, any of that kind of stuff, like processing wise or whatever. Well, that's going to be done with like real knives in the kitchen. This is just more for, you know, again, this is just, you know, for in the field, field dressing, skinning, that kind of thing. So again, you just kind of put it, so I can do this upside down, just put it, you know, put it in there, and then, it locks in, you know. Got a bit of a wiggle to it, a little more wiggle than the Havalon does, but no big deal. And personally, I like this one better. I'm going to use both of them again this year, hopefully, and you know, see what my thoughts are on it. But honestly, I really prefer this, and being able to deal with, if it does pop out, just put in a new blade, or re-put the blade back on or something like that, than having to deal with you know, the Havalon. Now, the cons against both of them is, other than they're, you know, they're razor sharp, well, they're knives, you know, learn to use a knife. But you've got, I mean, it's a folding knife, and a folding knife for gutting and skinning and field dressing duties, you know, you're gonna get meat, you're gonna get fat and tallow and hair. I think there was even like a little piece of hair sticking off when I started this video here. You're gonna get all that stuff in here, and it's just harder to clean. You can definitely, you know, hose, you know, put this in the kitchen sink, you know, and hose it off with hot water. It's a, you know, it's pretty, you know, clear inside to be able to, like, you know, blast stuff through. Same with this. Well, actually, no, this doesn't go all the way, and you can see there's probably a couple little bit of chunks of hair there from the last deer from last year. This doesn't go all the way through, but again, you can just put it in your kitchen sink, put it on the sprayer, hose it off, you know, clean out the mechanism. I mean, look how many times I've taken this on and off, by the way. I mean, I wouldn't even dream of doing that with a Havalon without a multi-tool to grab onto this. It's just too dangerous. But anyway, if you guys are interested in these, I'll put the links below. They both have their pros and cons. I like them equally for what they do, but they both have their cons for what they don't do all that well. So again, I'll have the Amazon links. I'm an affiliate with them, and if you do plan on checking out any of these knives or ordering any of these, or you know, even the replacement, you know, different styles of replacement blades, I'll put them in there too. I definitely appreciate it if you go through my link. I do. If you go through my link, I do get itsy bitsy little commission for that, and I do appreciate that. And yeah, there you go. Check them out, and leave comments below in the comments section. I really want to know if you guys have used either one of these or both of these, and which ones you prefer. So thank you for, oh, you know what, and by the way, I'm gonna, here, let's put up this this awesome shirt. Look at this awesome shirt. I do sell shirts. If you want to support any of that, I will put a link in the bottom as well for the Teespring site for this. It says Heart of a Hunter, Soul of Mankind, and you know, they come in all various sizes and colors and things like that. So anyway, thank you. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.